Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video. This time we're looking at Dishonored 2, or should you play Dishonored 2? Now Dishonored 2 is of course the sequel to the original Dishonored, which was a game that came out 3 years ago or so. And Dishonored was a game that I really liked, but I think I didn't quite like it as much as some other people. Now, I never really knew why. I mean, I knew there was a lot of depth to the game, and I knew the story was very good, but when I played it through, I maybe just didn't quite get it. And playing Dishonored 2 has made me realise that, well, it's made me realise exactly why I didn't get the original Dishonored, because I didn't get the most out of it, because Dishonored is one of the games that I have to say in recent years that I really genuinely have so much fun exploring what the game has to offer. And for a game that is essentially linear, I think it's something that's very difficult to do. I mean, something like The Witcher, obviously I've taken absolutely immense pleasure from playing. But that game is an open world RPG, it's to be expected that there's a lot to explore. So to be able to put a lot of stuff that makes exploring fun and interesting in a game that is essentially a linear game is quite impressive, and it's definitely a feat I am very, very happy to have found. And there is a small issue, and by small issue unfortunately I mean quite a big one really, and that is unfortunately that the PC version does suffer from some serious graphical performance issues. And again, unfortunately it's something that I can't really seem to fix. To give you an idea of the problem, this is running at 1080p. Yes, I'm recording, so take that into account, but it really shouldn't make that much difference. But at the moment, running on a GTX 1080 Ultra settings, I'm now looking at a counter that says 71 frames a second. Then I'll move over here, and then immediately it will go up to 120. Now, you might think, well, yeah, I mean, it's rendering less. But for there to be a drop of that caliber is just absolutely ridiculous. You're literally losing half your frame rate just by moving the mouse left and right. And these big drops are going to cause people with lesser cards a very big issue. And to be honest, Dishonored is the sort of game I would happily almost expect to run 4K 60 FPS on a single GTX 1080. Because while it looks very good, it doesn't necessarily push the bow out that far. It's hardly Crysis 3. Don't get me wrong, I really like the way it looks and I like the styling, but performance should be a lot better. And I did get in touch with Bethesda about this after they'd sent out my review copy, and they said basically they're working on it. There has been a few patches, and I think the performance has definitely increased, but it's not really it's not really gotten to the point where I'd really say that is necessarily worth your immediate investment, unless you really want to play Dishonored 2, which is a big shame, but sadly that's, oh dear, sadly that's just the way it's gone. Now, I'm going to show you a few different ways you can play Dishonored, because it's all it's all about the way you choose to play. Now, you can either go in all guns blazing, like I'm doing here, and to be honest, I don't think you enjoy the game quite as much as maybe you should do. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because this is a game that is all about choice, and you have a very wide array of weaponry to choose from here. But in order to get the most out of it, and at least what I've sort of discovered so far, is that you're going to be able to invest more time and get more involved in maybe the story and more involved with the outcome if you try and play it stealthily. Now, there are two different endings as far as I know, and that is a sort of high chaos ending where you go about killing everyone, and then a low chaos ending. But once you add the stealth aspect into the mix, there might be some alternative endings on those endings. I'm not entirely sure the way that it's going to work. I've been playing this game through doing a more stealthy tactic, and I have to say I've got a lot of pleasure from doing so. Now, thank God there are quick saves in this game though, because otherwise it would be so frustrating. Probably more my fault, but it's very easy to get spotted, and once you've got spotted, well, then you lose your stealth aspect, and I try to play the missions without being spotted at all. If we had an ability, do I have it? Oh no, I do have it, actually, called the Shadow Walk. You can use this, and then you can go in vents and things. Can I do that here? Is that possible? Let's have a go. I think so. Right, there you go. So now I'm in a sort of shadow walk mode as one of my powers. Okay, maybe I can't go through there. That's disappointing. I thought I could. There probably is a way. Maybe I just haven't unlocked the power yet. And essentially you do have powers. And you can level up your powers in the power screen. And then you have a series of 6 here to choose from. And then these have sub-levels as well. So Domino is quite a cool one actually. You can link 2 enemies or at least 2 targets together, and then whatever happens to one happens to the other. So if you take one out, the other will then follow. If you kill one, the other will be killed, but if you decide to silently sleep dart one, then both will fall unconscious. And it's pretty cool to play around with this, and you can combine this with some other things as well. You can see through walls with dark vision. Mesmerize is summon a void spirit to enthrall humans or hounds. Haven't used that one. Doppelganger, haven't used that one. Shadow Walk is the one you just saw. That's why. If I unlocked it, I'd be able to go through these. Well, be able to become a rat essentially, and be able to go through these small, narrow openings, and then get up new pathways that would not otherwise be available. So some of these may seem familiar to you because they were in the original, but if you want to play with no powers, that is now an option. When at the start of the game you get offered powers, you can actually say no thank you, and you can play the game with just without any powers whatsoever, and you can spend the runes on these enhancements instead. What you can do, you can see I've mixed and matched them here a little bit. So I've got Shadow Walk, but then I've also upgraded my agility. So there's a lot of player choice really, and you can do things how you want to. Same with Bone Charms, very much the same as it was in the original Dishonored. You can craft these if you've unlocked the ability, but these just give you some very small tweaks to essentially health or mana, or just the way some of the things work in game. Then you've also got the lore, which may or may not interest you. They do go quite deep, which is quite nice, and you can get audiographs located throughout the game as well. So if you really want to uncover what's going on, there is plenty of stuff to do. Maps are quite useful, so you can actually see where you're going essentially, and you have to find these as well. They're not given to you. But if you actually want to play the game as quickly as you can, then you don't have to do any of the optional missions. But if you decide to do some of these optional missions, you can get more in-depth ways of playing. You can unlock new opportunities, and you can play the game in a stealthy way if you want. But like I say, you can also play the game in a all guns blazing way if you prefer. And the optional abilities are definitely more optional missions, I should say, are more geared towards going down the stealth route, and they unlock new ways of going about the mission. So if you don't want to kill your target, there's normally another way of doing it. You can probably get other people to do it, but at the moment there's been alternative ways to do it, almost like a nicer way of removing your target. Because the point is, the vague bit of story that we have had so far is that you play as Emily, or at least I'm playing as Emily here, but you can play as Corvo if you prefer from the original game. And what happened essentially is there was a big coup. You don't really know much about it, but there was a big coup, and suddenly your power has gone from being in charge of everything to literally, wanted for some terrible things, I guess. They want to put you in prison. So yeah, you're being hunted, and they will try to kill you as soon as the guards find you. So it's probably a good idea not to be seen by the guards, but if you are, you can obviously go in all guns blazing. So here I'm not doing a very good job at being stealthy, and that's absolutely fine, because you can play the game this way if you want. But you will probably die, just like that. It's quite a good example, actually. And you can keep doing that, and you can go through the game, but if you really do want the maximum enjoyment, like I say, I would advise going for more of a stealthy way of playing, because personally I just think it is more fun. So I will resume the mission from where I actually was originally, which is a quick save over here, and this is where any spotted at all, then I restart and I use the quick load and quickly load from where I was. So what we're trying to do at the moment is we're trying to break in, as you probably already noticed actually from the journal. I'm trying to break in, we're trying to eliminate Brianna Ashworth, but I'm also trying to do the optional things as well. So at the moment I'm trying to learn how Ashworth corrupts the oracles. And you can hide the markers as well, so that you don't actually end up doing the wrong thing. I want to search the office as well, so I'll leave those two on. So now only the markers I want to see are going to be here. At the moment the frame rates has just dropped as well as soon as we've entered this new area. And it's definitely worth noting that the initial load times are really slow on the game. Once you've loaded the game initially, it's fine, but I have no idea why they're so slow. Definitely slower than pretty much every other game I've played, maybe other than Just Cause 3 in recent memory, which is strange. And that's off an SSD. Right, so the nearest thing is going to be the office, maybe? But I think there is something that I need to steal located over here, because I did play the mission earlier, although I didn't finish it. So we're going to sneak around a little bit. We're going to use the far reach ability just in case we need to get from point A to point B very quickly. Some doors are locked, some are not. You can go through windows. There's always different ways of going through. You can see it's a breakable door as well, so if we want to ram that down with a grenade, we can do that. So in here there is a security panel, which looks like it will deactivate the security mechanism on this little room here. Because if we go in here and try and steal it, I know from experience that we get a little alarm coming down. Oh dear. That sort of worked. That was a complete accident. I panicked and did that, but they've sort of they detected me but didn't know I was there, if that makes sense. So I've actually got away with that quite nicely. So let's go over to the office. For those of you that are running this, or at least want to run this on lower end cards, so maybe something like a GTX 960 or RX 460 or something like that. Truth be told, I don't know how well this is going to perform, because I've only tested this on a 1070 and 1080, and I had the problems on both. So if you are already decided you want to pick up this game, I would probably advise waiting until Christmas, because you'll be able to pick it up for a little bit less, and you'll also hopefully have a better experience. But if you really do want to play this now, and you've got a high-end card and you don't mind turning down some of the settings, or at least having this dip to a low frame rate, it's perfectly playable. I've had no problems playing it, but it's definitely not the best experience at the moment. Right, keyhole peak. So definitely not going to go in there straight away. That's some very strange things going on here. So we go around the side. How can we do this? I could probably create a distraction if I wanted to, and then someone would come out, but I can just sneak through here, like so. Should be able to just sneak around.
The Vice Overseer Burns' suspicions were right.
And then we're going to sneak around and go up the top. Although, can I get up there? I don't know, let's find out. I don't think my far reach will actually go that far. Or maybe it will actually. Is that going to work? No, I don't think that worked, did it? No. The window's locked as well. So the question is, how do you get up there? You can definitely get up there because there are things up there, so... And I just pressed the wrong button again. Ah! Your mana does regenerate to an extent, but not the full amount. So if you do want to... maybe that's definitely not right, okay. But if you do want to keep using a lot of abilities, then you are going to need to actually have these little vials here. One for health, one for mana. So let's show you some cool things you can do. If we want to get past these, rather than just using stealth, I can link these two together, look, like so. And then I can fire a sleep dart at you. And at you. And then you'll see... Oh, I've been seen. You'll see that those two have just then collapsed. And then to take out the other one, I can zoom over here and then do that. But the problem with doing this is now there are a load of bodies around and they may be found. But if you wanted to kill them, you could have done that as well, And it's a lot easier if you do go in for a sort of gameplay that does kill people, because you can unlock ability that will make bodies disappear as soon as they have been killed. They turn to ash, which I did in my original playthrough of Dishonored, and it does make it quite a bit easier, I have to say. Alright, but let's go back up there, because I don't think I need... Where's the office? Office is that floor, I think. So let's go up there. It was locked, okay, so I need to go in this way. That's weird, I don't know what that is. Okay, that's not good. You can throw things to distract enemies as well. But I think this just detects movement. It's proximity. So I can just zoom over there. And that should work. Right, now the question is... But it's always tricky, isn't it? How do I get in here? And I've been detected. By a tree. What does the tree do? The tree attacks. But I can take the tree out with a bolt. There you go. See, at this stage I would have restarted by now, because this is not acceptable for a clean playthrough, but it does at least demonstrate how easy it is for this thing to happen. If I throw a grenade, will that blow up the door? No, and that's just made a loud noise for no reason. Okay, let's continue. The story as well of the game, I have to say, it's hard to explain. So it's very much mission orientated. There's a big story, and then you have links that are the missions that sort of show you all the backstory of the characters, and then show you how they're all connected. I think my main problem is, though, that every time I pick up the game, I sort of have almost forgotten what's happened so far. And while I definitely understand what's going on in the big picture, I wouldn't necessarily say that I know what the smaller details of the story are, but I imagine if you did play this, maybe quicker playthroughs, you would probably be able to follow the story a little bit better. But it's definitely a cut above what most games are coming out with these days. The likes of Just Cause 3, I know it's a completely different game, but still I have no idea what the story was in that other than just blow stuff up. But that's an extreme example. God, so what the hell is this? So, oh, okay. So she's detected me, but I can now go and sneak around. Look. So I can take her out, which is going to be part of this story. And the way I'm going to do this is... Oh no, you can only use Domino on 2 human targets at the moment, which is a bit naff. Well, I say a bit naff, it just makes it a bit harder, doesn't it? Let's use a stinging bolt. No, let's go take this person out. This thing is so cool. It basically... Oh dear. Uh-oh. What? Well, I've got her unconscious. Okay, no I haven't. I can use a pistol, I can go bang! Assassinated, and you see how not satisfactory that is. I would have well, she doesn't look very well, does she? I would have much rather done this stealthily and gone and take her out. But there you go, you can see now that I've blown the other way, whatever the other way was. I will never know, unless I do another playthrough now. Or, of course, if I reload a previous save. But you can see just how different the playthroughs can be, because if I now go back to where I was, with F7, I believe it is, to quick load, then we can go and find out how to do the game in a completely different way. Because, you know, if you want to play the game that way, and you just want to find out what the story is, that's not a problem. But I think you'll just get more from the game. It'll take you longer, it's more in depth, and I know I'm repeating myself here, but I'm doing that for a reason. If you do choose to play Dishonored 2, definitely strongly consider playing it very, very stealthily, because I will tell you, of all the stealth games I've played recently, this is definitely the most rewarding in recent memory when you do it right. It can definitely get very difficult, it can annoy me, I've sworn quite a few times because the game is too difficult or this bit is ridiculous, all of these things, but actually when you put that all together and once you've actually achieved the thing you're trying to do, oh my god, it is very rewarding. Now these are blood flies, and you can either walk past them and just not worry about them, or you can take up the nests and then you get rewards. And I see what they tried to do here, but the problem is they sort of it's almost a bit too easy to destroy the nests. They're meant to essentially hurt you, and you're meant to. These, I don't know if they're meant to be difficult to traverse, but these bits of, I don't really quite understand what the point of them are. I guess that's a criticism, but I don't know. It's not really a problem. I just don't really. I don't get. Are these bits meant to be difficult, or are they literally just meant to be infected room? That's why no one's there. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. You know, it doesn't detract from the experience or anything. It's not really a problem. It's I don't know. I almost find them a bit too easy to get in here and actually do what I'm meant to be doing. Feathers, new bone charm. There you go. Press J to equip. So what have we got? We've got this new one. I've seen that one. I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? It wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. I think it was Fencer. I think it was Fencer anyway. Yes, it was Fencer. So I don't want one, so I will keep it. There you go. You can find all these collectibles as well, and there are a lot of them with the heart. And, well, that's about it really, isn't it? There's a lot to do, and you'll find that most missions you won't pick most of them up. Obviously, if you want to go and do all of them, it's pretty rewarding. It's a lot more rewarding compared to normal collectibles in most games. But it doesn't detract, again, from the experience if you choose not to pick up all the collectibles. But if you choose to pick up none, then yeah, you probably will have quite a harder time than you would if you actually went and collected them, because obviously the more collectibles you have, the more abilities and things you can unlock. And I think with that, it's time to sort of bring us towards the conclusion end of Dishonored 2. And overall, I have to say, I'm disappointed because I'm so impressed. I'm disappointed that the PC version isn't quite up to snuff, because if there were no performance dips, like there are, then this would be such an easy recommendation. It really would, because I really like the art style. I absolutely love how in-depth you can go in this game, and how much enjoyment you can get from it. Once you sort of realise that the game is only as deep as you make it, and you try to make the experience personal and tailored to you, it's so rewarding. Which is, oh dear, and I've cocked it up. Which is why I'm horrendously disappointed that there are these performance issues, because it makes it very difficult to recommend, unfortunately, because on one end of the spectrum, if you've got two GTX 1080s and SLI, you know, you're probably not going to have problems running the game, but you're still going to get dips, and you still may have to run it at a resolution than you've essentially paid for, because you've paid for all this graphical horsepower. But then at the other end of the spectrum, I have serious concerns that you're going to be able to run the game very well at all. And it's definitely worth noting again that it's not all areas of the game that have this issue. Like right now I'm hitting 100 frames a second without any issue at all. But some areas of the game just tank immensely. And I think it took me around about 2.5 hours to get to the first large area, and it was the first large area that did cause these problems, which means that if you do buy this game on Steam, you're entitled to a refund up until I think it is 2 hours. So the fact that you won't get to the problem until after that time, I think it may upset people further. So my advice is pretty simple. If you really want to play Dishonored, or at least Dishonored 2, then as long as you've got decent hardware and you are aware you are going to have performance issues, then I can solidly recommend it. Because as long as you're aware that this is a problem, you're going to be absolutely fine. You're just going to be annoyed with yourself when you get into these areas. But if you have low-end hardware and you're looking at the system requirements and you think, I'm probably only just scraping that, I would definitely recommend that you wait until we know the game has been fixed. And then for everyone else, well, definitely worth checking out maybe around Christmas time when it's on sale, as long as these performance things have been patched. Because if you're not that fussed, it may just frustrate you even more. But it's a shame because you'd be missing out on such a great game that I've thoroughly enjoyed playing, and is one of the few games I have no doubt in my mind that I am going to be playing through again and having a completely different experience. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to PC Centric Gaming for more videos like this and other live streams. The next one, which is actually coming next week, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which actually I've played for a few hours and I've actually really been enjoying it, which is not something I necessarily thought I'd be saying about Call of Duty. But more on that next week. Don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.